Good morning, all. Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be playing Planet Coaster, and I'm going to be trying to attempt to teach you how to design realistic coasters. Let's jump straight into it. Testing, testing. Brilliant. That's a good sign. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dogs, cats, everybody else. This is Poodle Doodle here, and I'd like to welcome you to the stream today, or the video if you're watching on YouTube. Today we're going to be playing Planet Coaster, and I'm going to be trying to teach you how to do my take on realistic coasters. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into the stream. Right then, I'm going to do a quick mic check from my computer and just check that this is all working before we start anything. little bit more serious, so give us a second. Yeah, 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 so give us a second. I thought that was going to happen. I apologise. Right, there we go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Well, let's just scratch that. Pretend that never even happened. Great outtake. Good morning, my lovely people. Welcome to the stream. Today is Thursday, the 6th of January, I think it is. Cool. Is it that already? Jeez. Today, we're going to be playing Planet Coaster, and I'm going to be giving you my personal tips on how to create some realistic coasters. So without further ado, let's get into the stream and give it a go. As you can see, no settings at all that have changed here. Standard ones. So here we go into Planet Coaster. I don't know what happened to my mouse button there. Okay, so you're going to want to pick a nice piece of land that's got nothing anywhere. Going to go to custom on the coasters. Let's have a think about what we're going to do. I usually like to use something like the American Arrow first of all, because it seems to be quite basic, boring, and quite easy. What you'll also want to find is you want to lift it up slightly. So by lifting it up, you're allowing trains to leave, as you're seeing it. I beg your pardon. You're allowing trains to leave the station without having to go straight up a lift hill. Now this helps for two reasons. The first one, let's just test, is that helps for your block braking. And secondly, just makes it look a little bit decent. There we go then, you've got a tiny little 45-degree bank turn out of the station, and we'll put it straight into a lift hill. Mind the explosions, doesn't really matter. You want to go for about somewhere between 40 and 45 degrees. I like to choose 45. That's fine, no need to be specific. And we go up. You want to take a quick look at your height markers here, because you want to make sure, as we're building a realistic coaster, that you don't want anything too ridiculous. So I'd say somewhere around the 100-foot marker, probably enough. Now, as you get to the top of the lift hill, you want to pull the ruler marker down as far as you can go, because you want this curve to be nice and steep as they come off the lift hill. And you also want to bank it down as far as you can, because you want a drop at the end, because otherwise your cars are going to roll back and it's not going to work very well. So then you can reopen up your track to make it longer, and the longer it is, the smoother it is. That's generally a good idea, because the smoother coasters are the more realistic ones. I'm going to get in very shortly into reasons why you'll never get a coaster completely smooth when you're doing it this way, but this is going to be close enough, and there's more people falling to their death. Thankfully it's not open yet. So this is a standard looping coaster that you'll find in any theme park around the world. Important thing here is realism. So a vertical drop isn't really appropriate. So what we're going to do now is we're going to shorten the track again. I'm going to create sort of 80-degree, 70, 80-degree drop. We'll say 75, just like that. Nice and smooth, as you can see from the sideways profile. And as soon as you've got this drop here and you're onto the straight, you can open back up again because it doesn't really matter. Now, you come into the ground and you can see that you've got that there. Now, you could go for a tunnel. That's not really in the ethos of a first easy video. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the ruler marker back up the other way. And we're going to start to shorten this again because we're going to go into our first valley. Now again, you want to start to keep this and create, there's no real right or wrong answer, but you want to keep a nice smooth gradient, sort of 10 to 15 degrees each time you go round. And so there's your first drop, and that's sort of profile as to what you want to be looking for. So you can see you've got your small overbank, your small bank section into a drop coming out of the lift hill, into a nice lovely 45-degree uplift, somewhere about 100 foot high. Lovely smooth but sharp drop down into a drop that's about 80 degrees, 75, 80, and then a lovely smooth opening in. Now that's probably a little bit too smooth, but what we can do is we can go onto the camera and have a look and see what we're seeing. Everything at the moment seems alright. No, I think that's going to be fine. Yeah, there we go. So that is a lovely first drop. Now obviously your coaster is going to go up another hill, so you want more of the same. Don't worry about it being particular, because we're going to iron out all the irregularities. In fact, actually, scratch that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a loop, because why not? Coasters with loops are awesome. So go for a vertical loop, and you want to be aware of the maximum height that you are, because your coaster is not going to go higher than that. Gravity, forces, and physics suggest that that's not possible. So you want to keep it relatively far below. The try that one again. The lower it is, the more speed you get. So we'll try that. You've got an 82-foot loop, and we'll see what it looks like. You'll get a good sort of idea of what's going on when the coaster comes around. Yeah, now that's pretty good. As the coaster comes up to the top, the apex of the loop, it almost looks like it's going to stop. It's not, because it's going far too fast at that time, but what you're getting is you're getting an effect from the camera. But what you want is that lovely slowdown there and a whip background. So that's perfect. Now, what you can do next is entirely up to you. You can go straight into another lift hill. You can go straight into another hill. You can go into a turn. You can go into another inversion. You can do anything you want. Probably a good idea would be to use something like an overbank turn. I mean, you can either use this one or you can create your own. Again, you want to try and keep it lower than the height that the last one was, because you don't want it to stall. And obviously, as it's an overbank turn, as you can see there, from a banking that is in excess of 90 degrees, you can carry a bit more speed around. So what you can do is you can use this button here. It allows you to change things around. I mean, obviously I don't recommend you do that because it's not very realistic at all and it's going to look a bit naff. But you can put a slight little bit of a curve on. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it exactly level. Like so. And you've got a lovely overbank turn. Now then, let's go back in coaster view, see what's going on here. So again, you've got your lovely drop into your smooth bottom, up and over the loop. That's perfect. Into an overbank turn. Now that could do with being a little bit faster. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to delete that. But we're going to remember it's 79 foot. So we're going to go back. It will automatically put that back in. We're going to drag that down. Drag it down somewhere there. 70 feet, probably not enough. I'm going to drop it down even further. Can't drop it down any further. So that's going to be as much as we can get. That's as low as you can get. Let's have a look back on the view again. There we go, that's beautiful. That's the kind of speed that you want going through the overbank turns. So, you might ask, what on earth are we going to do here? What can we do next? Well, you can see that the computer has automatically started to create this little dip here because it knows that there's a piece of track here. You're going to have to go over or under it. You can't go through it. So you could go up and over, or you could do what we're going to do, be a bit different, and go under. The advantages to that is you've got a lot of speed here, and you're going to carry some negative G's there. Negative G's are always good for your excitement ratings. Don't go too extreme, because if you go too extreme, your fear and your nausea are just going to go through the roof, and it's not going to work very well. So what you want to do is my technique. You'll see other people doing it differently, and that's fine, is to create a fairly long piece of track. And you're just going to knock it down to about 45 degrees. You're not actually going to knock it down to 45 degrees. That's absolute rubbish. You're going to knock it down to about 30. Because the idea here is fast and smooth. You don't want rapid changes of directions. You don't want rapid changes of height. You want smooth and controlled because you're going through at speed. I mean, what we'll do is we'll just wait for it to come around and we'll measure the speed as it hits this piece. So 49, just shy of 50 miles an hour. So of course, you're not going to want a rapid movement there because that's not going to work. Whoa. Apologies for that. Let's get back where we were. My mouse button appears to have stuck. Okay, so you've got here, you've got your track. They're already underground. It's automatically gone underground. And that was a beautiful crash. That's fine. I don't know what's going on here. Ignore that, absolutely. So you can level out now. And then do exactly the same as you go back up. About 30 degrees, 33 is probably the sweet spot. And you'll come back up. There we go, that's better. Now you're not high enough there. You're high enough. You're not far enough past. So you're going to want to keep straight and level. A little further. Pull it back a bit. And don't forget to extend that every time. Every time you make a movement and you reduce it, extend it back further because that's going to make your coaster smoother. Check I haven't put any bank on. No. Right. Back up to 33 degrees. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, I don't know what's going on there. There we go. Now you can go into a bit of a higher spot. It's fine. We'll do that. We'll go up to about here. And then we'll bring it down. Again, remember, as you're carrying speed through here, smoothness is everything. It's like a rocket, that does, doesn't it? There we go. So you could create some little bunny hops. You create just by weaving the track like this. You could do that if you wanted to. There's not really much point. It can help if you've got low speed. You've run out of height with your coaster, and you're thinking, well, what can I do to get the maximum amount of excitement as you get back to your lift station? Put bunny hops in, tight turns, corkscrews, barrel rolls, anything that you can get to increase that excitement ratio is going to work brilliant. So what we're going to do here is we're going to level it back down. And we're going to shorten that a bit, actually, because we can get away with it being a little sharper. Now we're here, I think it's a good idea to create a bit of a higher lift hill. Bit of a higher hill, because as you've got to remember, our station's there, we're here. So what are we going to do with this? Just watch it go round, and we'll see. Paying particular attention to these values here. Nothing has gone red. That's excellent. Now you see we've got a lot of speed there. It capped out at 37 miles an hour at that point. So we've got some speed to play with, and we can do something with it. So what you need to do is, this is a bit of trial and error now, because what we're going to do is we're going to put this hill up and into a brake run. Now obviously you don't want to waste speed on your brake run, because what's the point? You've built that speed by going up here. So you want to carry as much of that through. So this is a bit of trial and error. All you need to do is bring it back to 0 and create a little bit of straight track where your brake run is going to be. And you just sit back, watch it go through, and you see whether it reaches and whether it rolls back. Now there's loads of excess speed there. It's 26 miles an hour as it fell off the edge. We can go higher because we don't want to waste that. So delete the track, bring that back up to where we were, put in another one. So again, level, few pieces of extra straight, flat, nothing special track, and wait to see what goes on now. So we just wait, follow the coast around. Keep a look at the excitement, fear and nausea ratings as it goes around. Not once so far, just there, did they leave the green. The green is what you want. Green is good. Obviously it's not going to be green all the time. Now that's perfect, okay? The reason why it's perfect is because as it gets right up to here, it carries all of the speed, and it doesn't only just make it over, because that's risky, but it carries just enough speed to get it to the end of that by itself. That's excellent. What we can do now is we can delete those, and now we're going to click this section here, block section. So it says allows multiple trains to run on the track at the same time. This is important for creating realistic coasters, because when have you gone to a theme park and ever seen a big coaster like this run one train? You haven't, unless there's maintenance reasons or something like that. It's always going to be running more than one train. And to do that, it needs block sections. So key thing for a block section is the train is going to be released from this. It's going to stop, and then it's going to be released. Don't worry about that. That's all irrelevant. That's going to be sorted out in a minute. So what you need to do is you need to put an ever so slight drop on this. Doesn't need to be big. 1 degree is perfectly fine. You probably want 2 pieces of brake run like that. And you want to go straight back. So you can do another test. So you can put some straight flat unbanked track there, and you can watch it come round, which it won't because I need to stop the test. Do it. Let's speed this up. They go round. There we go. So down our first drop into the loop. Lovely speed throughout the loop into the overbank turn. Still carrying a lot of speed around there. 24 mile an hour. That's good. Into that steep drop into the tunnel, the bunny hop, and up onto our brake run. There we go. So that's good. Now, a good thing to put here is a helix. That's always good. You're going to want a downward helix. Now, you need to bear in mind that we're going to need to be going this way. We're going to need to be coming out now. So you need to think about where the helix is going. So like that's not really going to cut it. Right. So that's not really. There is enough speed to be doing a helix on here. So that's fine. What we're going to do, create another drop. We need to go sideways again for that. There we go. So again, you want it quite steep there because you've got no speed. You've got no speed to carry. So you can afford a bit more of a rough and ready drop. Now we're gonna do something a bit different. We're gonna put in a banked drop. So knock it over to about 45 degrees. This is all a learning process. We'll get round to it. We'll sort of iron it out as we go along. You want to start to put in curve like so. So once you've got the direction and the bank, you're going to want to elongate the track a bit. Make this a bit smoother. It will continue to follow round your track. So it will continue to follow the bank and the curve that you've set. So all you're going to want to do is obviously adjust the way that the track is falling so that it doesn't hit the ground. So as you can see, you're going to want to raise that a bit. Just like that. Now, as we're that low down to the ground, it might be worth doing that and going back to level. Because what it's going to do is it's still going to continue to follow that curve. We can allow it to follow the curve. And we can bank, unbank, and we can level out. Now that gives you that. Now, I appreciate it doesn't look very smooth at the moment. And that's understandable, but we're going to go back through in a minute and we're going to sort that out. I'm just going to take a drink. So, we've got some space now. We've got some space to do something. And what you'll notice is we're not running parallel to the station. So the station's running off in that direction and we're coming at it. So we're going to be creating like this triangle shape. The reason why that is you want to be coming back into the station. So you want to be hitting a brake run somewhere around here so that you're spending as little time as possible at a low speed. So what can we do here? You might remember me saying earlier about bunny hops. Very good idea. As we said before, I'll spin this around so you can see. Smooth and gentle. is what you want with the bunny hop, because you're creating the speed. The speed is what gives it the thrill, because you're looking for the 0 Gs as you go over those hills. Now you want to remember that the station's at 20 foot. So we're going to have to go up to 20 foot. There's no other way of getting around it. So an easy way to deal with that is to pop back over to your station and create your block section. Like so. So you've got your block section. Doesn't need to be big, it can just be 2. Now you can go back to your normal track and you can create what you want. So most coasters will normally have a bank into the brake run. Let's do that. Working backwards. Working backwards. Remembering that if you're going down, if you want the train to be going down, you're going to want, when you're working backwards, to be going up. So yeah, you've got a lovely bank track section there. You can try an autocomplete, see what it does, but normally, as you can see, that's not really very helpful. That's not very smooth. It's smooth, but it's not very realistic, is what I was trying to say. So we'll cancel that and forget that that even exists. Now, obviously, a key thing here is you want to make sure, as we're trying to join these pieces of track, that they're straight and level. So you can start to get a bit of an idea of what we're doing. Pretty autocomplete now, see what it does. Yeah, we can deal with that. There you are, so autocomplete's in. Just need to make sure that it actually gets to the top. Goes round and onto the brake run. There we go, so there seems to be a bit of a bank here. Take that out because it's not necessary. Right, so, and then what we'll do, stop the test, restart it. We'll have a look at the coaster. So we're into this drop after station to get some speed and movement out of the station and into the lift hill, which is going up again. That was all about. At a 45-degree angle. You get into the top, we've gone to about 100 foot. Now you're going to go smoothly but progressively down into a smooth loop. Going to hang time at the top, and it's brilliant. Into a nice smooth but progressively speedy overbank turn. Down into that lovely 0 G drop, up a bunny hill, onto the brake run. We're going to come down into this bank drop that we're going to sort out in a minute. Another bunny hill. Final hill. A banked drop into the brake run. So obviously you can see here that the trains are making it round the track. Test ratings, not so good, but that's okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come out of that. And we're going to go into the coaster settings. So we're going to click done on. I'm going to go to operations and we're going to change this to block section because that will allow you to have your second train. You can have 3. That might be pushing it a bit. So we're going to stick at 2. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom out so that we can see what's going on. So as the first train leaves the lift hill and goes onto the track, the second one pulls into the station to load the passengers. That second train will not leave the station now until this one is clear of that block. because it's going round, going down into the bunny hills, and it's going to hit this brake run. Now the problem is as it hits that brake run, this train then had to make that little stop. So that's why we're not going to put 3 trains on, because otherwise you're going to have trains stopping and starting, and it's going to lower your values even more. So 2 is the sweet spot. There's a little bit of a hang there as it waits for the train to get over the brake run here, but other than that, it's all good. So that's excellent. So we're going to reselect the coaster. We're then going to go back into edit track. And what we're going to do is we're going to take out some of that smoothness. There's some jitteriness, and we're going to remove that. So what you're going to do is you're going to ignore anywhere where it's going slow. So here, the left hill, it doesn't need to be smooth. It's not going to make any difference. Where you want it is the speed. Now your created segments, your auto create, so your loop and your overbank turn, they're already as smooth as they can get. So we're not going to change them. We're not going to change this little valley here. What we're going to do is going to do the bits that we created ourselves, because we're humans and they're not going to be particularly good. So you click on the track anywhere and this section appears. You've got some tools here that you can use to change your track and create it as you want. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this up to select where the bank starts, which is about there. And then we're going to leave it here because that's where the computer generated loop is. So now you've selected your track. You can, if you want, use this to add some bank. You can move it left and right, and you can move it up and down here should you wish. We're not going to do that. We're going to use these tools here. So you've got the ability to smooth the turn, smooth the height, smooth the banking, or smooth all. Well, there's no banking here, and there's no turn in here, so we don't need to smooth everything. We can just smooth the height. That did not work very well. So we're going to Control Z that. We're going to reselect, and it is a bit of trial and error. We're going to click Smooth All. And you're just going to click it a few times, and we're all good. Then you're going to take it a little bit further up. Just Smooth All. What that will do is make it all nice and smooth. So like I said, we're going to ignore the loop, that valley, and the overbank turn because they're already as smooth as they can get. This bit is where we're going to need to do some smoothing. I don't think we do. We can bring down to where the valley is. Smooth it a bit anyway. Two or three goes is all it really takes. And just go round the bits that you've created in sections, smoothing everything out, making sure that if you've got a hill or a valley, you're taking a bit of the up and down parts of the track with you so that you smooth everything over. Again, here, as you're going into the brake run, you've got slow speed here. It's not necessary. Brake run, not necessary because the train's going to be going very, very slowly. Where we do need to do something, though, is here. So for this, we're going to select the entire hill. We're going to take everything down to there. We're going to ask it to smooth everything. And as you can see, as you hit it more and more and more, that track is being created more and more smoothly. It's pushing this out and it's creating a lovely smooth curve. What it has done is it's removed the banking. Don't worry about that. We can deal with that. We just want to make sure that that's nice and smooth, which it is. And we can put the banking back. Like so. By dragging on that banking marker, you can then create your bank turn. Just like that. Now they look pretty smooth to me. I don't think there's any need to smooth them out at all. Comes into a low. Yeah, that's all smooth. And that's smooth. So now that we've smoothed everything out using that tool, Let's go in. Let's look for another train. See the entire ride. So, going up that left hill. Again, nothing to be smoothed here. It's fairly straightforward. And then we're going to see what our impact of smoothing the entire ride has done. Not going to have changed it dramatically. It's just going to smooth out those transitions. There's no judderiness there, and it's as smooth as it is on the loop, which is important. Through the Overbank Turn, into our lovely little dip here. All smooth. There's no judderiness at all. It's just smooth transitions from the hills to the valleys and the drops. Lovely and smooth there. That's quite a fast bank, but it's okay because it's relative to the speed that you're at. There we go. So with that all said and done, you've got a realistic, smooth, simple coaster that's using block braking, and the trains make their way around the track. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's the first ever stream that I've done that's actually made a world of difference. So thank you very much for joining me. I know I'm rubbish. This is the first time I've ever done it. I need some practice, and that's okay. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a short break, and I'll see you later for some Counter-Strike Go.